Hi, good morning. Rachel Tammy. This is my video for suturing. So before we get started with the actual suturing, I was going to go ahead and just talk about the questions that are on the rubric. That way I didn't have to type them and submit. So it was cool. I really liked this assignment, and it brought back memories for me. I used to be an OR nurse, and I've watched many a surgeon suture for hours and hours. And so it was cool. I never got to suture, obviously, but I always thought suturing was really neat. And so it was really cool to get to learn it. So the first question is 2 indications for primary wound closure. The biggest ones here are going to be clean or clean contaminated wounds, which there's kind of a gray area there, but basically clean wounds that are not full of, dirt, debris, particles, etc. Your best example of that's going to be a surgical wound or like a clean laceration that presents to the ER if you cut your finger with a knife or something. And then ideally a wound that's been open for less than 4 hours, up to 8 in certain situations, but a clean or clean contaminated wound that's been open for less than 4 hours. Another indication would be a wound that has sustained little tissue loss and is able to be easily pulled together with no tension. So even if it's a clean wound and it just happened 30 minutes ago, if for whatever reason the nature of the wound means that the skin can't be easily pulled together, then that's not going to be a good primary wound closure candidate. And that one's going to need to be referred. So that's 2 good indications. And that brings me to the next question, which is 2 indications when you would refer a wound closure to a specialist. So I kind of mentioned one earlier, but 2 big ones here are going to be wounds that are extensively contaminated. So usually that's going to be a large wound or something like a motor vehicle accident or a work site accident where the wound is full of dirt, debris, particles, things that are not easily cleaned out, because chances are the wound is going to need multiple revisions. And then secondly, indications would be wounds that go really deep into nerve, bone, muscle, even organs. So things like a big abdominal wound, you're going to get that to general surgery as quick as possible, because they're probably going to need to go in and be sure there's nothing going on underneath before they close it up. And then a third, just kind of like a bonus, is the face. So I didn't actually find that anywhere in literature, but almost everybody I know says face gets referred to plastics or ENT or someone that's more comfortable with that fine suturing. The goal, so the number 5, the goal of primary wound closure, which I've kind of touched on, to stop bleeding first and foremost, to prevent infection. So you want to be sure you close it well and you're not going to harbor bacteria in that wound. You're going to expedite the healing process by your closure. So leaving something open occasionally is good, but by doing primary wound closure, closing a wound is going to help that patient usually to heal much faster. And then preserving function and appearance, aesthetics of the injured area. And the aesthetics is especially key on the face, the scalp, exposed areas, the hands. You want to preserve the function of the, wherever the injury was, but you also want to be sure that the patient looks and feels good about it. Okay, so now I will start my suture. Hopefully you can see well. I've practiced a lot, and I'll cut these out later, but I just want to go ahead and knock it out. So I will do the simple interrupted suturing first, and I'll just do a few knots. I don't know, it didn't say exactly how many we're supposed to do, so I will do a few. Bear with me. I'm getting faster, but I will do those. I'll do those over here. Yeah. Actually, let me do them up here. Maybe you can see better. Nope. Right-handed. I'll do this way. Okay. Hopefully that's enough. I'll be doing that same start on the running suture. So I'm going to do the running suture over here. I find suturing to be very calming. A lot of the surgeons I used to work with would say that, actually. They said it was their favorite part of the case when they would get to the very end and they could just suture for a few minutes. Obviously, in a real situation, I'd have gloves on and be a little more sterile, but so now for the running, I let it run for a few passes. Most of the surgeons I've worked with did a running suture. So I watched a lot of these back in the day. Go ahead and make this my last pass. on that one. Yeah. Well, I was going to snip it, but there you go. Broke it off instead. Okay, I think that's it.